What's up? Good evening, everybody. Sorry about being late there. I totally lost track of what time it was. I was going off of earlier. It's like shit. I look up at the clock. I'm like, oh damn, this is Central. I've been looking at. What the heck? So my apologies. I'm exhausted, but we're gonna have a good show tonight. uh, there's the little Mogwai back there. Right there. That's, there's my souvenir from PA. There's my souvenir from PA. Mogwai. All right. I want to say thank you. Number one, I was looking outside as I got back. I want to say shout out to Wawa. Holy crap, that was a great sandwich. That was a great sandwich. Um, I want to say thank you. I came back and I'm sitting in the parking lot and I'm just looking at the sky. And I was like, man, it's so sad I'm going to be leaving here tomorrow. It's such a beautiful place. Uh, Definitely an experience I'll never forget. The weather, the spring jacket in September, the trees, the shrubbery, how thick everything was up there. Going to Brandywine Creek, you know, all those different spots, the dairy farm, uh, just exploring the whole area, the community. You know, Craco gas station, shout out, you know, dropping a lock off, you know, at the tunnel door, you know. I was just sitting there, I'm like, damn, I'll be leaving here tomorrow. Beautiful place. I just want to say thank you, PA, and thank you to the community out here. Had a great time. Um, the nature, you know, the nature. A lot of work, did a lot of work, but the nature. That's one thing that deep in my soul is something that always just keeps that atmosphere in you, you know, just being out in nature. And I'm telling you, it's so beautiful. Such a sad thing. I'm going to be leaving it tomorrow, but I want to say thank you. We'll be doing I'll be getting some rest. I didn't get to pack. I apologize. I didn't even get to open this soundboard. Check it out. I was going to try and have it hooked up for y'all tonight. Didn't even get to check it out. Totally, yeah, just exhausted. But tomorrow morning, I'm going to be heading out, and we're going to be doing Flora. I'm sorry, Flight 93 Memorial tomorrow. So definitely come hang out, or if not, you know, check it out on the replay. It's going to be another one of those experiences that are going to be once in a lifetime, and yeah, it'll be a tough day tomorrow. We covered the 9/11 on Monday. Thank you all for hanging out, and make sure I'm not muted. So we'll be hanging out there. We're doing Flora next weekend, probably Stevenson this month. And if you weren't in the stream earlier, I'm gonna be shooting for Moscow, Idaho, the middle of October to the end of October, somewhere in between there. So I'll be shooting. I'll be shooting out that way around that time period somewhere. So a couple things with tonight. We're going to be going through the court hearing. We're going to be going through the new documents. We're going to be, there's a CBS special tonight, so we might be able to have the audio of it playing over the stream. And I wanted, if you weren't in the stream, that we went to DeSale University a couple days ago, and I want to take you guys to where he was actually parked at when he was going to school. So we kind of drove around that campus for a little bit. I did some stuff up there. So we'll be checking that out too. So go ahead and get to your hellos and say what's up, and then we'll get into the show. It's all Idaho4, baby. Okay. Sorry I'm speaking so quiet. I don't really like maybe you know what? Maybe when we go out for the court hearing, maybe I'll go outside and that could be a little loud. And the first show tonight, everybody. The first show tonight ever. Water, no coffee. So there you go. What's up, Skittles? How you doing tonight? I can't wait to. I'm gonna be doing a lot of organizing this next week here. Getting my setup done on Monday. Monday/Tuesday. Getting all the Discord stuff taken care of. And then Wednesday and Thursday, getting all the members only stuff knocked out. So this whole next week is going to be nothing but new updates to the show, nonstop, full time. I'll still be doing my night shows, and I'll probably hop on in the mornings for a little bit. But I definitely want to leave the middle part of the day to get to work on the show nonstop. Get all these things updated and knocked out. And then we can bring new stuff to you too. So we'll get all that stuff done. And then I'm thinking like next weekend sometime I'm going to head up to Florida and do it on location up in Florida. So shout out to Jinx and everybody that covers Florida. What's up, Kib? What's up, Cave? Ticket number 4. I apologize about being a little late. What's up, Caddy? But we'll get all that stuff squared away this week. So we're going to go back. I got my planner. I got all that stuff set up. I got scrap paper in there. I got all that. Yes, I apologize about being late. Yeah, sorry about that. I was so exhausted. I just came back and I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, oh, it's only 6:30. I got fucking out. Wait a minute. Like, wait a minute. It's like 6:40. That means it's 7. Fuck. Yeah. What's up, Mike? DS, what's up? Yo. What's up? We can throw out the link here in a second. Brandywine and True Crime shouting you out all over the place. Shouting you out all over the place. What's up, Stacy? Thank you for all your help. Appreciate you. And isn't it crazy being so close, right? You were only a half an hour away from me at certain points. That's it. What's up? What's up, Beth? Thank you for hopping in. Appreciate you. It's a beautiful place. Right. Yes. Paying it forward, you know? Paying it forward. Great people. Great people. The people here, it's a different vibe. It really is. They're more, I noticed as I was out in the stores, around here and kind of peeping, you know, that's one thing that I noticed is normally where people would be in a rush and be upset, and, here everybody's just chill. I'm telling you right now, if it wasn't for the winter, I'd be moving here for real. If it wasn't for that winter, because you mix the winter and these roads, if it wasn't for that winter, this would be my home right here. Like this, beautiful. I'm telling you, like the last couple of days, that's the perfect weather that I'm talking about. It was 5.5 out of 5 stars. That's what it was. It was beautiful here. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The trees, the mountains. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Randy One. Thank you for taking us on this adventure with you and for going. I had to. I had to. I had to. Right there. There's my trip. Let me write that down. October 22nd. There we go. So we'll get there we'll take off on I'll take off on the 19th. Take off on the 19th. Be there for the court hearing and then be there for a day or two after. Let's do it. Because see, I could. Yeah, we're going. Just gotta. Yes, water. Yeah, we'll be going to Moscow, Idaho. We'll be heading up there. What's up, bro? No, thank you for all your help. It was a great time. Oh, thank you so much. It's we're gonna be doing a lot more coming up here. Oh, cool. Well, thank you for hopping in. I appreciate you. Excuse me. Not sure if you see my comment earlier. Let me get back home and change the channel name of the video. Aw, thank you so much. I know, I definitely wish I had some business cards today, but it's all good. It's all good. If my number ends up on a folded piece of notebook, who knows? Maybe one day they'll be flipping through it. Oh, yeah, I remember that guy. Yeah. But this is what's cool. Like, I got to meet the wife and the husband, right? The wife impressed me even. Excuse me. With how impressed I was about the husband, right? Remember? I came away 10 times as impressed from the wife. So, amazing couple. Like, amazing couple. I'm glad I didn't bring the camera in there. It was a good call from the soul because they were already so humble already. It probably would have made the opposite effect of what I was trying to do. You know what I mean? Like, it probably would have made the opposite effect. But if you ever go to the Graco gas station and you see the older gentleman and the older lady, um, the owners, you'll know who I'm talking about. Beautiful souls, beautiful people. It's amazing. It's amazing. Life is amazing. What's up, peaceful warrior? Oh, the thing just shut off. That's weird. Uh, everywhere. Every, what is it called, everybody? Everywhereville. But people think it's evil. So I'm gonna be rebranding my name here. Probably sometime coming up. I'm thinking about it because when you're going out to these communities and stuff, they might, like Silky said, some of them, she's even like, what? I had to tell him, you're really not evil. You're not evil. So I don't want to give people the wrong impression. Just CJ. I'm just CJ. What's up, Dre? Thank you for the kind words, everybody. I appreciate that. So I'm going to show you guys something here real quick. I'm going to show you where we went. We went to DeSale University. And we're taking you where? Let me see here. Coburger went to school, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna mute this because my microphone, I need a better microphone. Okay? So this is when I was driving. Oops. I hope she is. I reached out to her today. I heard from her last night and this morning. Well, early AM or whatever. Or that. Maybe it was last night. No, it was this morning. My days are all mixed up right now. I'm so exhausted from all this driving. We miss her. I hope she's doing okay. I know she's been busy. Yeah, there's a lot of. I hope she's feeling good. Yeah, you should. Oh, thank you, Sunny. Yeah. Moscow. We're going to Moscow, baby. Yeah, I might get some tonight. We're going to be hanging out tonight. Just doing Idaho4. I'm going to haul in the show. I'm going to pack everything so it's ready for the morning. And then after that, we're going to get up. I'm going to get up right now. I'm going to stream in the morning. And then we'll be going to the Flight 93 Memorial. I'll be taking you guys over there too. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me when I go to these places, because not only with the drives, because the drives, you guys make these drives go by like this when you're hanging, but getting to share, like if it was just me in the car and I was seeing all the nature, it's like, right, already. But with you guys, even though sometimes it's choppy, even with you guys, but with you guys being able to be there, like you said, it's almost like you're sitting in the car too. There's the 503. There's the 503 air. But it's almost like you guys are sitting in the car too. Yeah, I'm exhausted. was a long day again today, but we're good. I'm kind of bummed out. Like I was really looking to like this, this little soundboard from Walmart. We did some reviews on this trip. Some of them good, some of them not so. Mhm. Yeah, appreciate you. Shout out Kelly if you're listening. A hot soap. It's only a shower. There's no bathtub. Oh man, that would be amazing. Though, lay in some hot water, I'd probably fall asleep. Honestly, I'd fall asleep. All right, let me show you something. Yep, yeah. I'm glad that I took it tonight because it's who knows, right? What if that lock? What if what if they used it tonight and tonight, was a night, maybe that lock saved it tonight. I don't know, man. When I went up there still was no lock. So, um, not that I opened or touched it or anything, but I just saw it. I'm like, well, shit, there ain't no lock. So I'm gonna knock on the door, and if nobody answers, I'll just drop it off. You know, but it's there. So hopefully somebody or whatever, but it's there. It's for them to use, and it's free for them. So, or if they want to toss it in the garbage, hey, we try. We did it. I just wanted to. I don't know. When we watched that video, I was like, damn, y'all need a lot, man. And if nobody's offering it, I'll offer it. They should be safe. Oh, cool. Look. All right. So this is when we were heading up to. Let me move this down a little bit. It's still pretty high. All right. This is when we went to. Oh, I'm fine. It's only like 8:30. Shit, if I wasn't doing a show, I'd be doing paperwork or organizing or something. So I'd rather hang out with you guys and do Idaho4. So this is this part got kind of the signal out here is crazy. So this is what was crazy going to DeSale was that uh, all these little roads and stuff you had to take to get there. Okay. All right, so we're coming up to it. And, let's see here. So this is us pulling into DeSale, and we went to the University Center. So this is where Koberger went to his. Oops, sorry. So this is the University Center right here. And we drove through the whole campus. Drove through the whole campus. But I want to show you guys a certain part. So this is one of the buildings. Yeah, this was another spot. Like some dude was staring and standing behind my car. There's a couple times on this trip that it was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? But this is where, what is it called? Basel? So I'll show you the parking lot. I got out and I walked over to the statue. Look at this stuff. Look at this statue in front. This is where Koberger was going to school. We went all over it. We drove all over. We walked up here, but look at this. Look at this statue that I took video of. Big screen. Yes, beautiful statue. Look at this thing. Here, let me get out of the screen for a second. So see that building right there behind these? So this building right here. So see this building right there. That's where I went to class. Look at this statue. I'm sure Koberger looked at it too, you know? Look at how beautiful that statue is. I'm sure Koberger looked at it. So cool. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. I had to get the sun that way too. See, right between the two statues. I was like, man, that's a good shot right there with the sun kind of. Yeah, I love that. And look at the detail in it. You can tell from the sun, like all the shadows, all the detail of it. So, and then let me skip ahead a little bit. Walked around some more. And that's where he went to class right there with Ramsey. That's where he studied under Ramsey. Right there. So we were in that same parking lot. I didn't go up to the building. I did a walk around up front. I didn't actually like go to the door. All right, and then we went around a little bit. Let's see. There's a clear picture. And then here, again, here's the, it's just beautiful. Look at that. So beautiful. Just look at that. Beautiful. All right. Let's get into the court hearing. I kind of feel like I need some coffee now. So I'm going to start this court hearing. I'm going to make some coffee. What a beautiful picture. Okay, court TV 2 days ago. Follow the money. This is, we're going to get to, okay, you know how like when the Idaho 4 case came up and they arrested Koberger, and after that, stuff started to not make sense, and I'm like, they just jumped the gun because of enrollment. I was thinking that whenever they arrested him, like it's about the enrollment. When they wouldn't let the families come out with their reward, it was about enrollment. That's interesting because Harsh has a video from today. Did the university influence Koberger's arrest? It's a good question. All right, so let's get into the court hearing. And I'm going to make me some coffee. All right, hold on, let me get the credit thing going here. And once I'm done with my coffee, I'll open up Painting too. Let's see here. Let me send you Yoli an email with the link. Turn it on. All right, so I'm going to make some coffee. I'm going to hit play, take the headphones out so I can listen to it from the computer while I'm making coffee. And then I'll open up the panel. We'll get this thing going. Let's see, Court TV. And we'll go right there. Right there. There we go. Do I have to watch? Do I have to have my coffee cup ready, everybody? Here, let me do this just in case. I'll scoot it over a little bit. There. Oh, you're good. Yeah, we've been occupied from the manhunt. Yeah. Audio again. Jeez, what the fuck, dude? What the hell? Hold on, it's all fuzzy. Probably because of this Wi-Fi. No sound? Again? Okay. Hold on. It should have sound. It's not saying it's muted. You're good. Hope you get to feeling better. There's sound there. She's sitting on the left.
All right. Thank you very much. Please be seated. All right. Well, good afternoon. Let's get on the record, please.
It's audio.
Thank you. We are now on the record. Stop. Only on your computer. I'm moving around. No, I disappeared.
This is dumb,
Okay.
man.
Here we go. Let's try this again.
I gotta do this shit
Can
again.
you hear me? Ms. Beatty, Mr. Nye? Yes. Ms. Massive? Yes. Okay, excellent. Okay, we are now on the record. This is State of Idaho versus Brian Koberger, CR 2922-2805. Mr. Koberger is in the court with counsel, Mr. Logsdon and Ms. Taylor. Ms. Massive is participating or observing from Zoom or through Zoom. The state is represented by Mr. Thompson and Mr. Rudley. Also who are in the courtroom, and Mr. Nye and Ms. Beatty are observing through Zoom. We also have Ms. Olson and Mr. Carone representing the Media Coalition, and Ms. Towler is the court reporter. So welcome back, everybody. And I think what we need to do is first address the motion to intervene. So, Ms. Olson, is that for you? Okay.
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, as with the motion that proposed interveners filed before the court, we seek to intervene for the limited purpose of opposing the defendant's motion to remove cameras from the courtroom. It's our position that the proposed interveners are the ones who are most affected by that particular motion. And in light of the court having asked us, essentially the same group of interveners, to weigh in on this issue before, we would seek to intervene again just for that limited purpose of opposing removing cameras from the courtroom. I think it's within the court's discretion to do so.
All right, thank you. So I see this, oh, don't go away. No, I want to talk to you about this. First address the motion to intervene. So, Ms. Olson, is that for you?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, as with the motion that proposed interveners filed.
Remember, this is training.
Olson, is that for you?
This is training.
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, as with the motion that proposed interveners filed before the court, we seek to intervene for the limited purpose of opposing the defendant's motion to remove cameras from the courtroom. It's our position that the proposed interveners are the ones who are most affected by that particular motion. And in light of the court having asked us, essentially the same group of interveners, to weigh in on this issue before, we would seek to intervene again just for that limited purpose of opposing removing cameras from the courtroom. I think it's within the court's discretion to do so.
All right, thank you. So I see this, oh, don't go away. No, I want to talk to you about this because I think that, well, I'm not sure, okay, that this is the same intervention as we had the first round. I think this is a different situation. And I think some of your clients kind of jumped the gun a little bit, thinking that they are interventions or interveners. And I mean, you know, this was filed on August 30, 2023, so we really haven't had a chance to talk about this. And I haven't addressed it in court, as you know. So, and we already started with the merits, okay, before I have approved the intervention. So my issue first is really on the standing, because the first round had something to do with Constitution, state Constitution, U.S. Constitution, and I'm not sure that that applies in this situation under Rule 45, and I think that the Supreme Court, the Idaho Supreme Court,
You guys hear?
addressed that a little bit in the
You guys hear the court hearing?
former motion.
Alright, sorry about that. Hold on a minute. I gotta reboot. So I'll just hang out with you on here until we get it back up. Yeah, it just froze on me. The computer just froze. So just give me one moment. I know. I still gotta, I don't know. It's happened a couple times now. But I just hopped on my phone to chat with you guys until it, there we go. Oh, I thought it was done. Oh. What the hell? No, it's not an update. Yeah, I just noticed it like froze, but I could still hear it. Now it's just sitting there with a blank screen. Just give me a minute here. What the hell? You know what? Those British Knights I got are freaking comfortable without the insoles. They're freaking awesome. And I can just slip them on with them being tied. It's cool. I don't even have to tie them. What flavor? What flavor? Oh, excuse me. What flavor of what? I don't know what's up with this. It's just sitting here on a blank screen. Maybe I'm just gonna have to go get one when I get back or something. It like won't come on. Hold on. Let me just try and restart it. Yeah, I got this ring light thing, but I can't get the frickin', it takes batteries or something. Which usually, I thought they usually come with it, but yeah, I don't know. I'm on my phone now. I don't know what mine did. It just, the screen froze, but I could still hear the court hearing updating my system. It couldn't let me wait. Mine's updating too. It'd be nice if it said something instead of being in the middle of a show. Usually that don't happen. Right? Right? Usually it's update and restart or something. More updates. Well, maybe as we're sitting here watching this court hearing, I'll open up the sound mixer. Sorry, I don't know what's going up with this. It is. All right. Okay, just 1 second here. Okay, I gotta connect to my hotspot. What's up, Natalie B? I'm just kind of getting it all. It like restarted in the middle. Or froze, I should say. Alright, so let's get that court hearing back up. Okay, we're only 6 minutes in, so I'm just going to go ahead and restart it once I get it up here. Okay, so we will present this. And this is what I'm going to do since they want to do that. No, hold on. I forgot which one I did. Was it this one? I think that's what it was. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we'll be getting through some documents here too. I'm going to watch this first and then we'll get into some of those. Let me see here. And if you want the documents, here is the link. Thank you for the update, Natalie. All right, we'll get into this, and I'm going to make some coffee and stuff while we listen to this. So if I'm not able to cover is let me do this. That should help. There. There we go.
Thank you very much. Please be seated.
Oh, I'm not sick. I'm just tired. Pooped. A lot of driving.
All right. Good afternoon.
Drinking water. But I need a little coffee.
On the record, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna make some coffee. I won't be able to cover the screen, so
Now on the
hopefully
record.
that's good enough.
Stop. Only on your computer. I'm moving around. No, I disappeared. Okay, good to go. Let's try this again. Can you hear me? Ms. Beatty, Mr. Nye?
Yes,
Yes. Ms. Masseth?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay, we are now on the record. This is State of Idaho versus Brian Koberger, CR 2922-2805. Mr. Koberger is in the court with counsel, Mr. Logsdon and Ms. Taylor. Ms. Massif is participating or observing from Zoom or through Zoom. The state is represented by Mr. Thompson and Mr. Rudley, who are in the courtroom, and Mr. Nye and Ms. Beatty are observing through Zoom. We also have Ms. Olson and Mr. Carone representing the Media Coalition, and Ms. Towler is court reporter. So, welcome back, everybody. And I think what we need to do is first address the motion to intervene. So, Ms. Olson, is that for you? Okay.
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, as with the motion that proposed interveners filed before the court, we seek to intervene for the limited purpose of opposing the defendant's motion to remove cameras from the courtroom. It's our position that the proposed interveners are the ones who are most affected by that particular motion. And in light of the court having asked us, essentially the same group of interveners, to weigh in on this issue before, we would seek to intervene again just for that limited purpose of opposing removing cameras from the courtroom. Your Honor. I think it's within the court's discretion to do so.
All right, thank you. So I see this. Oh, don't go away. No, I want to talk to you about this because I think that, well, I'm not sure, okay, that this is the
Oh,
same
she wants.
intervention.
Okay, I see
as
who
we
she
had
is now.
the first round. I think this is a different
I hope they don't.
situation.
Thank you, Natalie.
And I think some of your clients kind of jumped the gun a little bit, thinking that they are interventions or interveners. And
What's up, Becca?
I mean, you know, this was filed
Making
on
some
August
cake.
3rd, 2023, so you really haven't had a chance to talk about this. And I haven't addressed it in court, as you know. So, and we already started with the merits, okay, before I have approved the intervention. So my issue first is really on the standing, because the first round had something to do with Constitution, state Constitution, U.S. Constitution, and I'm not sure that applies in this situation under Rule 45, and I think that the Supreme Court, the Idaho Supreme Court, sort of addressed that a little bit in the former motion for mandamus. So, you want to address that, the standing issue first?
Sure, Your Honor. With respect to the Supreme Court's decision, when we filed a petition in front of it back in January, I think they said that the media has the right and should be able to intervene when there are issues related to First Amendment issues and access issues. And Your Honor, I would submit that, and we understand that ICAR 45 is absolutely the governing piece of law on this. But when we talk about press access to the proceedings, cameras in the courtroom, I would submit, Your Honor, are part of that press access to the proceedings because it's the cameras in the courtroom, it's the ability to have full coverage, it's the ability to have still photographers that provide access to a much greater number of people than even having just the reporters who are going to write things down and post stories after the fact. It allows sort of that broader access that allows people to see sort of firsthand what is happening, and we think that's an important First Amendment right, Your Honor.
That's a First Amendment right to have cameras in the courtroom?
No, Your Honor. Press access is absolutely, and public access is absolutely.
Oh, whoops, sorry.
So the press and the public have full access to this courtroom? I
agree, Your Honor. Having cameras in the courtroom, having still photographers, having live coverage allows that public access to be much greater than it is through just having people having to travel to Moscow, having to come into this particular courtroom, Your Honor.
That has no implication for the United States Constitution or the Idaho Constitution. I just want to clear this issue up in terms of what the standing is.
Your Honor, I respectfully disagree because I think that the First Amendment and the Idaho Constitution both contemplate this right broad access piece of it. And I think there's an argument to be made that having cameras in the courtroom takes a step from that that right of public access and makes it more open to additional people. So I think there is a First Amendment interest there. It is certainly not as strong as, for example, if the proceedings, there was some sort of order to close the proceedings or no journalist could come into the courtroom. I think that would be a far more significant problem, Your Honor. But I think in terms of First Amendment interest, the broader, it may be because
Did it
there's some
quit?
access already, the
Okay.
First Amendment interests are smaller, but I think there is a First Amendment interest in having broad access to the court proceedings. I think it's also in the interest of the court, Your Honor, to make that access as broad as possible, because we're unfortunately in a day and age where for some people, if you can't see it, you don't believe it, or if you can't see it, it didn't happen. And there's an increasing need for people to see for themselves precisely what's going on inside the courtrooms of this country.
Are there cases that support that?
That support cameras in the courtroom?
No. And that is based in constitutional law.
Well, Your Honor, I would say that the line of cases that we both cited, Estes in Chandler versus Florida, says that there's no prohibition on having cameras not in the courtroom. There is not a case that says flat out, under the First Amendment, there is a right to have cameras in the courtroom.
Okay. Well, I understand that. Let me, because I was looking back at this decision that the Idaho Supreme Court made, and it does say.
The clock is distracted. What's up, Yoli? Hey, what's up?
Hi.
How are you doing? Said the clock is distracting. Keeps flashing. It is kind of distracting a little bit.
Yeah, I've never seen a clock like that.
I thought they had the time set there and then it just kept flashing again. So I don't know. It's bugging out or something.
Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Uh-oh.
What happened? Did it stop or what happened?
It delayed again or
My
something.
computer just finished updating.
Yeah. Now my
I don't know
chat
what's
bubbles.
going on.
Yeah, it's acting weird. Clock is distracting.
So
All right,
is
let me see here.
Is it going?
Oh, it's like flickering or something. It had time on it. I think it's going back and forth where it'll have time and then it won't. Just kind of flickers. Let me see here. So I think it's just a bunch of people. I haven't seen it yet. So maybe it's a bunch of people asking to have it. And then we get to hear what the prosecution and the defense says about it. I already know what the judge said about it, but just kind of going off the hearing. We'll get into some of those documents. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and kind of let this thing play through. It is another 30 some minutes, and then we can start getting into those documents because I know there's a lot of them that have dropped.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. So I figure we'll get through this and then get through the rest of these documents, and that'll probably actually be the show. So I'm glad you hopped up. We can go through these documents here once we burn through this court hearing. Pretty much the judge denied it all. But
My understanding is
there's always a chance.
I tried to look at the documents. He denied the motion to dismiss based on prosecutorial misconduct and the grand jury, the biased grand jury. He denied cameras for that, but I think he granted it or allowed
for court
public
TV.
access. He allowed public access for the other one. The motion to dismiss, there's two.
Yeah, he's been cool. I'm gonna need coffee.
One he denied because of. I guess we're on a delay.
he was cool with, like, he's always been cool with court TV so far. I don't know why, when they keep breaking the frickin' rules. Somehow he's always cool granting them. He granted what was it? He granted the other ones too.
Yeah, I only know about the ones for the cameras because I did hear about that, and I understand that part of it was granted and part of it was part of the original order, which said public access is allowed. But the one for the motion to dismiss with the prosecutorial misconduct and the grand jury biased or whatever, he closed it to the public because of the grand juror's privacy. So that's what I understand. And that's supposed to be, is it on September 22nd or October 22nd? I thought it was September 22nd.
I don't know. I saw October, but then I also saw September, like a week and a half ago. Is before this manhunt stuff started. I was seeing September 22nd, but it's been a week and a half since I really even had my ear to Idaho4 stuff. So it could have been changed to October 22nd, as far as I know. You know, I got to catch up.
Right.
I've been so into this manhunt that all my extra time's driving or getting ready for the manhunt shit. I haven't even, for real. I don't even know. Like, somebody told me, they were like, yeah, Kaylee was trapped or something. Did you hear that? And I'm like,
oh God.
No. I was like, no. And then they're like, yeah, it's like from like 3 days ago. I'm like, oh damn, dude. Yeah, I gotta catch up.
I heard that, but not, I think I heard it on this. Yeah.
Right. I gotta catch up. All right, let's get through this and then we can get into these court documents. Bunch.
That petitioners need,
I won't be able to pause it here for about 10 or 15.
Are correct that Idaho's rules of criminal procedure do not provide a specific mechanism for third parties to intervene in a criminal case. Likewise, the federal rules of criminal procedure do not provide for a motion to intervene in a criminal case brought by the United States. Of course, we know that well. It says, however, both state and federal courts often permit the media to intervene in criminal cases on a limited basis, or at least file a motion as interested parties in the defense of public access and free speech, including in Idaho. So I think, we're on the same page on that, and I understand that. This idea of intervention specifically versus as an interested party, because I know in the Daybell case, the media was characterized as interested parties. I'm just not sure that we get all the way to intervention, because historically anyway, my understanding of the rules is intervention means you are really a party in the case. And that gives you significantly more access. I'm thinking about this more as an amicus brief or presentation, because I'm willing to hear it. I'm willing to read the briefs. I think that's important, but I'm not necessarily comfortable going to call it all, or the media coalition, to be interventions. So do you see a difference there?
Your Honor, I understand the difference, the distinction that the court is making. That's why our motion to intervene has always been for a limited purpose. And full candor, this was a difficult one to sort of try to solve procedurally. It's been my experience in Idaho state courts that rules and cases are read very literally, and we couldn't find a rule, so that's why we went to the Supreme Court to begin with, because there wasn't a rule that allowed us to do that. And I think for purposes of the proposed interveners, the media
What's up, everybody?
in this case, that being allowed to present its argument to this court, whether it's as interveners for a very limited purpose, and that's without a rule, that's typically, I think, how you would get into a case. I was trying to liken this to like, motion to quash a third-party subpoena, but there's a rule that allows you to come in and challenge that. So when there was no rule, we were trying to identify, well, what is the procedural mechanism? And intervention is typically, certainly there's a civil analog, and there's a way to, that's just the analog that we requested from the court before. We think it's consistent with what the Supreme Court said in the case that it decided in April. But if the court does not want to give us intervention status, I remember we had that discussion a little bit last time, and we asked you to sign the order, so in part that would be precedent for us to do this, and you did. But
Everybody agreed, so I signed it. But now I've thought more deeply about it.
Yeah, and I think, Your Honor, if the court would rather the media coalition appear as interested parties, I mean, that would also serve the media coalition, and we'd be happy to present argument just as interested parties so that there is some entity speaking for continued access in the courtroom.
Okay, and I could even label you as media coalition.
That would be fine with us, I think, Your Honor.
Okay, great. And there is some language, and I don't need to read it now, page 14 and page 15, that kind of caution going too far with intervention, or what we call it. And I'm trying to clarify this a little bit. I think the Supreme Court is trying to clarify it a bit in criminal cases. And my reading of this is they really don't want the media to just be coming into the middle of criminal cases to, I guess, exercise their concerns.
And I don't think the media wants to either, Your Honor. I think both with the initial motion to intervene and the issue that was raised last time about the non-dissemination order, and for this issue with respect to cameras in the courtroom, those were both about sort of fundamental access to the sources of information that this trial, this proceeding are really all about. And so that's, I think, the media doesn't want to have to, they don't have to pay me, Mr. Crum, every time they want to make an argument in court, and we don't think that would be appropriate either. It's just those issues that really fundamentally affect what sources of information they can access in the process of reporting on this court, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ms. Olson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'll give you first. Mr. Dudley?
No. Well, Your Honor, the state has no objection to either classification of the media for the limited purpose of helping the court decide this issue.
Thank you, Mr. Redley. Okay, Mr. Logston?
We're not going to object, obviously, to hearing from the media, and I certainly understand the court's concern, and it's interesting, but and again, so long as I guess we're not filing things willy-nilly and making discovery requests, we're not terribly concerned about how they're.
Great, thank you. Maybe I'm just being a little nerdy about, the rules and, even the history in Idaho, and also relying on some of the language in the petition for writ of mandamus that the Supreme Court issued on, I guess it was April 24, 2023. So I really think it's more appropriate, and I looked into this to some level, and to sort of an amicus brief, but not considered as a party, as an intervention, but sort of a presentation or brief addressing particular issues of interest that are important. No question about that. So that's how I'm going to view this, and I'm going to deny the motion to be for intervention. But however, I will certainly consider the arguments, consider the briefs, and I will consider that while balancing the concerns of both the state and the defendant too. So let's move then to the arguments on cameras in the courtroom, and we'll start with Mr. Koberger's team, and I believe that's also going to be you, Mr. Logsdon.
I don't intend to take a lot of time. We've briefed this. Moreover, we somewhat argued it a few months back. I think our position is that the court, I think, understands our concerns about turning this into a spectacle, the way that that may prejudice the public against our client, the way in which that dehumanizes people, constellation, and turn this into more of a TV show drama than a court proceeding, which is what it is. And I think everyone understands that. Our concern is that since that time, it doesn't seem like much has changed. The media's argument, as far as I can understand it, is that the cameramen that are here are doing their jobs well. There are editors for various organizations, or people on social media that take those images and then do things with them that we may not like. And that if the court removes the cameras, presumably those people will just use older images and we won't have effectiveness all very far. Our position is that removal of the cameras does two things. One, it stops new images. And I don't think we can underestimate the power of novelty when it comes to what the public is interested in. Use of old pictures, it becomes ho-hum. There's a reason why we live in a world of memes.
Yoli.
Pictures, they quickly get old. There's a new one, it seems like every day there's hundreds of brand new images. So the concept of removing this sort of almost sideshow from what's being put out there, we think would be an important way to kind of take away the sensationalization of this case and just kind of reduce it to hopefully the words on the page. And if they're using old photos, etc., you can't stop them. We just don't see that as being as big an issue as a constant stream of new images that are being manipulated, etc., to make viral content, what have you. Our secondary point is just that we don't like where the camera's currently sitting, because it looks like where I'm sitting and my laptop. I got one of these fun screens so that if you look at it from the side, you can't quite see what I'm doing anymore. But it's a distraction for us because we feel like essentially there's a camera right over our shoulder, and we certainly understand they're not zooming in on what we're doing. But I think we've already seen that once they make these images and they pass them around, I mean, they're well-made cameras, and somebody else could presumably do that. And so that causes us quite a bit of concern as well. So if the court decides that removal of the camera isn't necessary, we do have, I think, a bigger concern of just making sure that they're set someplace where we don't have images that are really just what we're working on during the case. And I don't really have much else to report. Unless the court has questions.
I have one comment or question, because in one of your briefs, I know I've had two sequences of briefs because we had this earlier, but this was a newer one where you were saying, well, this is a quote, were it only the kind of cameras used to show the workings on the House floor on C-SPAN.
I may be showing an age. They might have better cameras now, but when I was
I'm sure
younger, it was just this camera like way over there.
As we previously discussed, the decision of whether to allow cameras in the courtroom is discretionary for the court. The state outlined our concerns with allowing cameras in our responsive brief and in our June 6th briefing.
Thank you, Skittles. I appreciate that.
Concerns are preserving the right to a fair and impartial trial for all the parties, protecting sensitive witnesses who will testify at hearings and trial in this case, and safeguarding evidence, which is the graphic nature. We agree that the media plays an important role in the court process, and we appreciate in their briefing the measures that they identify to address some of our concerns for protecting vulnerable witnesses or evidence which is of a graphic nature that they've done in previous cases.
A big concern as well. So if the court decides that removal of the camera isn't necessary, we do have, I think, a bigger concern of just making sure that they're set someplace where we don't have images that are really just what we're working on during the case. And I don't really have much else for the court, unless the court has questions.
I have one comment or question, because in one of your briefs, I know I've had two sequences of briefs because we had this earlier, but this was a newer one where you were saying, well, this is a quote, were it only the kind of cameras used to show the workings on the House floor on C-SPAN.
I may be showing my age, but they might have better cameras now, but when I was
Well, I'm sure.
younger, it was just this camera like way over there.
Yeah, well, that's the point. I mean, I made me think about that, is just plant a camera up there. If everybody can just see what's happening from the back of the courtroom, maybe that can satisfy everybody just partly.
That was kind of
That's
my
what you
idea, Judge. That was my suggestion. And I feel like somebody's gonna throw a tomato at me, but that, I thought, might be a way to kind of give a little and just kind of protect what we're trying to do.
I've never seen anything very sensational on C-SPAN.
And that's literally what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's
Although Newt Gingrich got pretty close.
yeah, there you go. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, are we going to Mr. Rudley now? Ms. Olson gets at the end of that, and then I'll go back to the parties. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. As we previously discussed, the decision of whether to allow cameras in the courtroom is discretionary for the court. The state outlined our concerns with allowing cameras in our responsive brief and in our June 6th briefing. Primarily, those concerns are preserving the right to a fair and impartial trial for all the parties, protecting sensitive witnesses who will testify at hearings and trial in this case, and safeguarding evidence, which is the graphic nature. We agree that the media plays an important role in the court process, and we appreciate in their briefing the measures that they identify to address some of our concerns for protecting vulnerable witnesses or evidence which is of a graphic nature that they've done in previous cases. However, our contention is that the safest way and best way to address all of these concerns is to prohibit cameras in the courtroom, or in the alternative, prohibit cameras when sensitive or vulnerable witnesses are testifying or there's evidence being viewed that's of a graphic nature. And I'll stand for questions.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Olson.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I think, legally, we're where we were 3 months ago with respect to what the rule the court has to consider in terms of whether to continue to allow cameras in the courtroom, and that's Idaho Court Administrative Rule 45. And I think, Your Honor, when we read through that rule, it really addresses the concerns that the parties have raised to this court about what the court's discretion is, about what it can, how it can direct cameras, whether to be in the courtroom, all of those things, that it can restrict camera coverage when there is a particularly sensitive witness. And I think, Your Honor, what you saw in the declarations that we submitted, the declaration of Rebecca Boone and the declaration of Grace Long, is that these are journalists who are experienced in covering court cases, and in covering court cases where there are cameras, both video cameras and still cameras, and following the court's admonitions about what can be covered and what can't be covered. And I think particularly, Your Honor, with respect to Ms. Boone's declaration, and Ms. Boone, who is a graduate of the University of Idaho's journalism program, who continues to be an advisor to that program, and who certainly would have not only the best interests of her employer at heart, but she understands this community. I mean, her experience has been that when you have these pool cameras, both still and video, and when you allow camera coverage to the extent that you can, it better serves the public, and it helps ameliorate the kind of media, or media scrum is probably not the term that my clients would want to use, but the sort of that big gaggle of journalists who accumulate outside of the courtroom when there is no opportunity to be inside the courtroom, when you don't get the opportunity to have that full procedure. So I think the court can use Idaho Court Administrative Rule 45 and craft a solution that continues to allow the journalists who are working hard to cover this case to be able to do so in a way that both allows them to provide really a firsthand account of what's going on. And again, Your Honor, I don't think we can underestimate the importance of that firsthand video account as well, because we're just in this day and age where people are used to seeing things firsthand. There's cameras everywhere. To be able to really have great confidence in the proceedings, I think it is important for the court to allow some sort of in-courtroom camera coverage of the proceedings. People are going to need to be able to see firsthand for themselves how the evidence is presented, how they want to see the rulings that the court makes. They can learn a lot from that in a way that they can't learn from people who then are in the courtroom and they go set up outside and they talk about what happened. And so I think, that's a good reason to continue the policy that the court has had. And then I think, Your Honor, with all due respect to Mr. Lawson, I just don't think there are the violations of the things that the court said at the outset of the June 27th hearing. Now, I was not here. I read about it in the attachment that Mr. Lawson made to his initial, or the reference Mr. Lawson made to his initial pleading in this round. And my reading of that, Your Honor, is actually in a Fox News story, is that the court said, and of course the court said it, so I'm sure the court's memory of it is the best, but that the court made a comment that the court should, of course I'm having a hard time.
Back up. That's one of the things I said.
Yeah, okay.
It was just focusing
Right.
too much in particular areas, and so I was just cautioning the media to step back, and they have pushed the envelope.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Okay. Well, Your Honor, I think that what the media heard on that occasion, as reported by Fox News, was that the cameras needed to show a wide shot of the courtroom and not focus strictly on Mr. Koberger. And I think that phrase focus strictly on Mr. Koberger has clearly been interpreted to mean you can still take pictures of Mr. Koberger, but he's not the only one you should be taking pictures of. And there's certainly a limitation in print media or the online stories. I mean, you don't always have video. So what I've seen, and I think that the examples we provided to the court, where there were pictures of lots of different participants in the courtroom, and they're trying to show everybody. And if the direction from the court is instead, look, there can be no single pictures of Mr. Koberger, the challenge is, and I think even Rule 45 says this, there are some limits on how much the court can tell the editors and everything, because they're not here in the courtroom, and some of those people may still choose to crop out just a little bit of that picture. And Your Honor, I don't think that runs afoul of what the court has in mind. I think that what you've seen is an attempt by the journalists who are here in court to show a wider shot. I mean, as we wrote in our brief, from that courtroom angle there, I mean, it's I think I said it's not a football field. It's hard to get sort of the full perspective when the camera is sitting right there. If there's a way to station the camera at the very back of the courtroom, maybe, but those are also the things, like you saw this in Ms. Wong's declaration, the court TV people have a lot of experience working with courts and trying to find the best way to both serve the purpose of having cameras in the courtroom and being able to present to the public the proceedings as they occur, and also not be obtrusive, not cause noise, not run afoul of the court's admonition to focus in on any particular individual. So they are more than willing to work with the court to do that. They just ask that we continue to be in the courtroom, because I think, Your Honor, when we look at the full media coverage, they haven't run afoul of that admonition. There are certainly still individual pictures of Mr. Koberger, but that will continue to happen regardless, Your Honor.
Well, sure. I mean, in some ways, it kind of misses the point, because it's the sensationalist sort of spectacle that is concerning. And from one of your, the declaration from TV or
Court TV.
Court TV. You know, I looked through, you know, all the cases that they filmed, and you know, some of those you could question whether that was a very dignified way to have a trial. And the classic is O.J. Simpson. So they're saying, oh, this is great. This is great work we did, you know, filming this. But if anybody watched any part of that case, it was a circus. So that is one of the concerns. In this particular case, we have a lot of interest, and we have a lot of people that you can't control, that your clients can't control, and they are putting out stuff that is harmful. It's harmful for the case, for this case, for the process to have a dignified trial. That's my worry, and that's my job. So when I have been talking to the media, just kind of, can you back off a little bit? Because I've been very accommodating. And I just start feeling like, can I really trust them to do the right thing? And it's not necessarily the camera people, okay? It's where that film goes and how it is manipulated and how people are, you know, commentators, how they talk about it, okay? How they explain it. And a lot of times it is not very accurate. And I don't watch all this stuff, but I've watched enough to see that how disinformation, misinformation is pumped out there, along with the images and with the films. So how do we deal with that? It's not the same media now than it was 10 years ago with social media, for example. I can't control that. You can't control that. I understand that. I mean, it's going to happen anyway. All I wish is that everybody had a little more respect for what we're doing here, because it's not entertainment.
I'm here.
It's a tragic
But
issue, okay?
just let it
And
play
that
out.
is what is disturbing to me personally.
Your Honor, if I may, I understand all of that completely. I have been in Mr. Thompson's shoes in a very disturbing, heinous murder case with a lot of the pressures that go with that, and dealing with victims and victims' families. And that is a very challenging position to be in. And being able to, I think, Your Honor, having worked in the criminal justice system far longer than I've been in the position I'm in now, I think that in this media day and age, having cameras in the courtroom so that people can see what the proceedings are all about. And so there's at least a source out there that says, this is what happened. And if there was not that, that makes it much easier for the people who are going to disseminate disinformation, for the talking heads who aren't going to be respectful of the process to do that. Because then there's none of the actual footage from the trial that responsible media outlets and responsible consumers of information and responsible online people will be able to get access to. I think, Your Honor, the answer is not less sunshine, it's more. I don't think we can afford to abandon to whoever the guy on X or Twitter was that cut out a portion of one photograph of Mr. Koberger, and then was glad that he got some call out by Mr. Logsdon in his motion. I don't think we can afford to abandon how this case is portrayed visually to those individuals, Your Honor. And instead, frankly, of having pictures in the court, then you just get all the pictures of people going, in and out of the courthouse. But you're gonna have the same content, Your Honor. The way to battle misinformation is to provide the accurate information. And the accurate information is what happens inside this courtroom with the cameras positioned in a place that provides the best, most overall perspective of the courtroom. And if there are sensitive witnesses, then the court can give direction and the media will follow that you don't get to film those witnesses. The rule provides you don't get to film the jurors. There are all sorts of sensitivities built into ICAR 45, and the media would ask the court to use those tools rather than saying, no, we are not going to allow cameras in the courtroom. We're not going to allow video in the courtroom, because then you just don't get that accurate picture that they can portray out there. And Your Honor, I do think, with all due respect to the comments that Mr. Longston made in his reply brief, the members of the media who are in this coalition, who I think are covering this trial, who I think includes the news editor from the Daily Argonaut from the student newspaper at the university, they are here because they think it's an important public service to cover the proceedings in a criminal matter of such importance to the university, to this community, and I think, Your Honor, really to the state of Idaho. And as I recall from my comments when we were here in June, I mean, this case has affected people all over the state. There are young people who were students at the university that I know who were affected by what happened. And having some ability to understand the proceedings and to get the closure will be important for them, Your Honor. And I think this court, this court accomplishes much more by allowing the cameras to stay in the courtroom and giving them firm guidance and working with them than it does to send them outside. If you want to see spectacle, I mean, see the 40 cameras set up outside of the courtroom, and every time someone walks out, they sort of get ganged up on. I mean, that, I think, Your Honor, is spectacle. With respect to the O.J. Simpson trial, which is, I think, one of the first sort of highly covered ones, I think they pointed out was to, like, look, you can have camera coverage of these cases, and the person, it's still possible for them to get acquitted. It's not prejudicial in terms of guilt or innocence to have cameras in the courtroom. But I think everybody learned a lot from that trial. It certainly didn't reflect well on poor Judge Ito. It didn't really reflect very well on the prosecutors. There are things that may have been playing to the camera because of that. But I think we all learned a lot from that, Your Honor. And hopefully, then changes can be made about where the cameras can be positioned. And there's part of it's the responsibility of the participants in the courtroom, not to adjust their behavior for the cameras. I don't see, Bill Thompson, the late Cobb County prosecutor of years and years and years, adjusting his approach, or Mr. Nye, or the others who are working on this, because there are cameras in the courtroom. I know Ms. Massoff, I don't know these lawyers as well. I know Ms. Massoff is not going to adjust her performance in the courtroom, and she's going to do everything she can for that client, and I trust these lawyers will too, regardless of whether there are cameras in the courtroom. And I think, Your Honor, the public and this community will be best served by having those cameras in the courtroom and making sure that the guidelines that the court wants to put in place are there, and that there's this firm understanding by members of the media that they will follow that. And I just think it's just not true that these are met with the people who we represent, and the people who are in this courtroom today are here to make a spectacle of this proceeding. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Olson. So I just I hope I sent out a message to the media and everybody else that please have patience, be respectful, and be decent. That's what I want. So, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, any response to any of that, Mr. Logston? You don't have to.
I guess not really sure where to go with that one, but obviously nobody's talking about throwing the media out of the courtroom or making the case go dark. I wouldn't want that. After all, I think the public definitely plays a very big role in making sure that we all do our jobs right. We're just talking about the images that are coming out of this. It sounds like the court, here's where we're coming from. I don't think I have a whole lot more to add to that. Thanks, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Redley?
Nothing further.
Okay. Well, thank you all. I think it's a very interesting, really kind of powerful issue that is a benefit and also potentially a harm. there's a lot of balancing that will go into this consideration. Of course, I am especially sensitive to the parties of the case. I saw Mr. Thompson kind of smile a little bit about, there were a lot of these cases where they were sensationalized and heavily filmed and talked about. The defendants were acquitted. And so therefore that proves that they got a fair trial. Well, we want trials to be balanced for both sides. And I don't know if I was reading your mind a little bit about that, Mr. Thompson, but it can tilt. It can tilt the case one way or the other. If the media is, trying the case in the media. And we don't want that because that's not based on evidence. That's not based on the rules of the court. And it can get out of control. And I think some of those cases that were cited in the declaration, court PD, personnel, are kind of seeing it one way. And they have a certain job to do. I understand that. But some of those cases, in my opinion, kind of spun out of control. And that based on the media and how heavily it was covered. So that's my worry. I'm going to figure it out and try to do the right thing for both the public and parties and the rule of law. So with that, we're adjourned.
Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, that was a whole bunch of barely anything. A whole bunch of barely anything. This is what's crazy. The last documents that we went over was like 9196. Look at all these. Holy shit. How many? We'll just say from 96. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 documents. I ain't reading all that tonight. That's for sure. Court TV. No, we did go over temporary order sealing exhibit. So 9-7. Court TV.
So I need my glasses, but I think some of these are not very, they're just orders about things that, yeah. But the declaration of, go ahead.
I'll send you the email for the link if you want to, so you can like pull them up while we're talking if you want.
No, I can see here, but I just probably need my reading glasses. But the order for the media request, that order was the one that we went over before. It just has the judge's ruling. He circled things and did whatever. But the stipulated motion for closed hearings, I don't know what that is. And the declaration of Boone. Okay,
yeah,
so
I did see those. I was like,
Yeah,
what
so-
are those?
So I take it that they mentioned it in the motion to remove cameras from the courtroom. So I take it the declaration of Boone and the declaration of Olson are talking about why cameras should not be in the courtroom.
Yeah.
And declaration of Wong in support of opposition. Okay, so Wong would be the one that is opposing the motion to remove the cameras. So he might be somebody who wants the who has some kind of information about wanting the cameras in the courthouse.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's all arguments.
So maybe he
you know.
might be interesting to look at, but
I
yeah.
think when it comes down to it, he's just gonna have the, like he said in the court hearing, like, it's almost like I need to have a camera on the way in the back just to be able to please everybody, Not that he wants the cameras up and zooming like court TV is. I don't know why they keep playing. They don't. But like maybe in the back corner.
I don't know, but if the courts just had a camera, that would solve everything. Just have a camera string in the back corner. I mean, I don't want cameras when I'm trying to case. Are you kidding me? I'd be nervous as hell, but that comes with the job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just give us something, so we're not relying on Twitter.
So I think all these documents, there's really nothing.
What's this last one? Stipulated
of
motion.
Significance to really go over. Okay.
Yeah, media.
Stipulated motion for closed hearings.
Yeah, what is this?
All of that is basically, let's see.
To dismiss indictment. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the one where
trying to get this. Yeah, dismiss indictment grounds of bias, grand jury, admissible evidence, lack of sufficient evidence, and prosecutorial misconduct.
Yeah, that one is going to be closed. Yeah.
I don't see one from the 15th. Somebody said there was one on the 15th. I don't see one yet.
No, it's not. It's the same. It's the same order. I think Jennifer Coffindaffer, I'm not sure, but she may have said something that was incorrect.
Oh, really? That hasn't happened before. That hasn't happened before. The two IDs being linked to the victims that they found in his house. Bullshit.
Yeah. And she gets paid for her appearances. I didn't know that. I didn't know
really?
that. I didn't know she got paid for, but I don't know if that's true. I just heard it somewhere.
No shit. Wow.
What? Like, if you do it, you're going to do it, whether you're paid or not. I don't know. Meaning giving your opinions, on a public case. I don't know. I don't even know if that's true, but that's what I heard. But for the most part, I think most of these documents are just pretty much. So so when is the hearing? Can you look at hearing dates on this?
Let's see here.
September 22nd or October 22nd?
Oh shit, am I in the wrong one?
Are you in the wrong? Oh yeah, you probably are.
There it is. Yeah, I'm in Chad Daybell. Wow, that guy.
Oh.
Let's see here. September 13th. That was already came by.
I think the stipulated motion for closed hearing might contain the hearing date.
Let's see here. Oh. Mm-mm. No. That don't either. Hmm.
So, hearings, if you go up way at
Yeah.
the top of this list, does it show when hearings are?
Way at the top? Like way at the top?
Yeah, I don't know how this website works, so I don't know.
Mm-mm. It just has the, let's see, case
Yeah.
summary.
Case summary.
Let's see. Let me take a look here. Let's see here. So they canceled just October 2nd.
You can't screen share that?
Yeah, here you go. I forget it
Okay.
doesn't switch.
Oh dear God, I can't read that. Okay. So 9/22. Okay, so it is 9/22. 9/22
Yeah, there is nothing for October.
at 1 p.m. It's the defendant's
Yeah.
motion to dismiss the indictment on grounds of grand jury. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Let me see here.
So it's 9/22. That's next
When-
Friday.
Is it?
I think so. Today's the 15th. Yeah. 7 days, 22.
Canceled pre-trial. So 10:30 a.m. and 1 p.m.
Yeah, so the 9/22/2023 motion hearing at 10:30 a.m. is not open to the
Okay.
public, but the one at 1 p.m. is.
Yep. So let me see here. The one that's
Next
not
Friday.
open is defendant's motion to dismiss indictment on grounds of bias, grand jury, sealed hearing.
And it's the one about prosecutorial misconduct as well.
Yeah, yeah. But they also have an in-person hearing. They also have an
Yeah.
in-person hearing that's open to the public based off the same.
Well, it's not the same. It's regarding the grand jury instructions. Remember they had that motion to dismiss
Oh,
the
the
indictment.
error.
Yeah, the error in the
The
instructions.
bias is closed. The error is not.
Yeah. The bias is closed partly because of, maybe the grand jury has to be revealed. I don't know. I'm not sure. But the one about the grounds for error in the instructions, because in instructions, I'm not sure, but they said it was, I really don't know because I don't know about grand jury instructions, but apparently the instructions they gave to the grand jury were not correct, according to Ann Taylor. I wouldn't know if they are or aren't, but that's the motion for that one. Yeah. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. That's a lot of damn documents.
So, yeah, most of them, I don't know, they don't mean much.
Bunch of paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me see here.
There was.
What's up?
Oh, there was. Well, go ahead. You were gonna play what video?
There's a video I wanted to play from Harsh about. There's a couple videos from Harsh actually I haven't been able to check out. But go ahead and say what you were gonna say.
Oh, I was gonna say there was a video of an interview with Steve Gonsalves that was
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
there's that special tomorrow on CBS.
Is it
7 my time.
tomorrow? I thought it was today.
No, it's
Okay,
tomorrow.
so it's really
48 hours. It's not Dateline, it's 48 hours.
CBS. Let me see it. This is actually talking about it here.
A judge is deciding whether or not to allow cameras into the courtroom when the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students goes on trial. That man, Brian Kohlberger, his attorney is saying that live coverage would actually threaten his right to a fair trial. Meanwhile, 48 Hours has new details about the case itself. Peter Van Sant spoke with 2 of the victims' families who shared information about what happened the night of the murders. His report airs tomorrow as 48 Hours returns to CBS for season number 36. Here's an early look.
It's been a long and painful journey for the families of Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, the 4 University of Idaho students who were stabbed to death in the pre-dawn hours of November 13th, 2022.
Do you ever dream of your sister?
Yeah, I've had some dreams of her. Just gives me some peace knowing that I know she's okay.
Xana Kernodle's sister Jasmine and father Jeffrey are speaking out for the first time since Xana's murder.
It just happened, you know? What do? You can't do a damn thing.
Everybody's going to work and you look out the window and there's kids running down the street laughing and you're just like, how can you be out there playing? My daughter's dead.
On the night of the murders, Christy and Steve Gonzalez's daughter Kaylee was in the same bed as her childhood friend, Maddie Mogan. The Gonzalez's say coroner Kathy Mabbitt told them before a gag order, the killer attacked Maddie first, then moved on to Kaylee.
There's evidence to show that she awakened and tried to get out of that situation.
They say she cried out, and her wounds show she fought for her life.
The way the bed was set up is what
She was trapped.
she was trapped.
Xana also fought back. According to her father, she had severe defensive wounds.
She went down fighting.
I believe so. It's upsetting to think about.
She was always a very strong person.
A judge has entered a plea of not guilty on Brian Kohlberger's behalf, but he is not the person the families want us to remember.
He's not important other than what he did and being held accountable. I'll be here to keep reminding people who these victims are.
You can see Peter's full report the night of the...
That'll be an interesting episode.
Yeah. I'm going to be watching it tomorrow at 9 Central. What's my time? 9 Central? That means my time is what?
7, right?
Okay.
7 Central. Let me see. There's a harsh video.
So Katrina is saying, you need to tell me the roommates didn't hear anything. Oh my God,
always
that's
thought it
awful
was
to
weird.
think that your kid...
You know?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
to think
and
that
they
your
don't
kid
call
had
for
nowhere
8
to...
freaking hours.
That's just terrible. And you know, they don't...
You
I
can't
mean,
tell me
God.
them roommates didn't hear.
They either weren't there and
Something.
Dylan is not being truthful, or law enforcement put words in her mouth. I don't know. But if they were there, they had to have heard. They absolutely had to have heard something.
Let me see here. Scott Reich actually. Let's see.
Or there's Yoda.
Yeah. So this is harsh. Let me put this up there. Because he talks about it too. There's a couple videos he did where he talks about it.
I've talked with multiple family members, and I want to be respectful for everybody's viewpoint. And there is some fear that the cameras will record things that are gross. You know, they're not ready to have their friends and family members come to them and say, hey, did you hear about this or that? And
Yeah.
I understand that. I really do.
Well, hello there, you beautiful, beautiful people. And guess what? It is Thursday. You know, we talk about Thursday a lot, don't we? That it's like that space between Boxing Day and New Year's Eve. That's it. Yeah, anyway, let's crack on with the meat and potatoes because we've got a lot to go through as Steve Gonsalves has been interviewed by B.Entin, and man, oh man, oh man, has that guy dropped some absolute bombs. But
is that interview available? It's got.
Yeah, it is.
Let me check Twitter.
It is. I'm not sure, but I saw like a clip of it and I was like, oh God.
Does anybody have a YouTube link? I'm gonna look up on Twitter. See if he posted it on his Twitter.
How funny you were going through Brandywine area and it's her birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Isn't that strange?
Crazy. It is. Yeah, we were driving all over Brandywine. We went to Brandywine Creek.
It was a tribute to her birthday.
Brandywine, what was it? Brandywine Battlefield.
Yeah,
Hill.
or something. I don't know. It was a plaza or something.
The British were coming down the hill to come take over Philadelphia and shit. When was this interview? I just see. Okay, 17 minutes.
Maybe a couple of days ago. Do you want to finish? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, this is it. It was B.Entin, I think.
Yeah, we'll start off with this one. Yeah, we'll start off with this. Hold on. Let's see here. Okay.
Our take is that cameras the community needs to determine who this individual is. You cannot ask for the community to do the death penalty without their vision, without their support, without their understanding of all the aspects of the case. It's more than just the jury members. It's the community. It's a message for everybody to understand. In Idaho, this is how we work. We're not the same as Chicago. We're not the same as Miami and New York and LA. This is how
the guy in the top left is Shannon Gray, the Gonsalves' attorney. And man, he looks hit like he just is waking up from a hangover.
Idaho perceives
like a hangover.
A major incident, and this is how we react to it. And we have the resources to do that. So I don't know what removing the cameras really provides other than a gap. You know, and we've had a gag order in this case, and that didn't work out well. You know, you hear about other people who've been placed under a gag order. It doesn't seem that the Constitution works well with this constitutional time of when it's okay to speak about, I don't know, I don't want to say the truth, but I want to say when people are going to speak about a case and let the audience decide what the truth is. You know, a gag order is an old version of controlling the narrative. You can't control it anymore with, you know, social media, TikToks, and like I've said before, it's not NBC, ABC, and these three medias that control this narrative. The whole world sees everything. So pretending like you can control, and what are you trying to control? Are we just displaying truth in action? To me, the courtroom is truth in action. So why do we hide that?
Right.
Were you surprised, Steve, to see the prosecution?
That's how we all feel. So
Yeah, and you know what? The judge can only control his courtroom. I mean, I've had a judge tell me, I'm going to control my courtroom, and whatever you hear from attorneys, whatever you hear outside sources, that is not evidence. And he told the jury, whatever you hear in this courtroom that's testimony or documents, that's what you need to listen to. And so you, the jury, have to listen to me, have to listen to the jury instructions, and have to listen to what comes into my courtroom, not anything else. And so that's the only thing you can control. I mean, you can't control social media. It's out of control. Why would you want to?
yeah, I mean, and it's almost,
you just have to convince the jury that the judge has. It's almost what?
No, go ahead. I stopped a while ago.
Oh no, you said it's almost what?
Yeah, I stopped a few seconds ago. I was letting you finish.
Oh,
I don't even
anyway.
remember what I was. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry, there's a delay. But yeah, that's the only thing you control. The judge can only control his courtroom and what comes in, and to tell the jury very sternly, what you hear outside is not evidence. What you hear the attorneys arguing is not evidence. It's what you hear on the stand and the documents that I say you can rely on. That's it.
And that's how it is with every jury,
Yeah.
I mean, it's how it goes, whether it's high profile or not. It's the same rules. It's the same approach. It's the same. That's why they go through jury selection to make sure that they get the people that understand that, not the ones that are already, so it's normal for that. I don't know. I think what it is they're so used to people not butting in their damn business because it's all the way up in frickin' Idaho, and ain't nobody paying attention to fucking Idaho until this shit, And now that there's a whole bunch of people paying attention to it, now they're getting their shit up all in a bunch because now a whole bunch of people are watching their shit. None of them like it.
And you know what? The judge, no, they don't. But, I think the judge is going to have to, I mean, if I were a judge and I didn't know what to do, you have to do research. You have to ask other judges. You have to say what. So I think the judge can be relied upon. I mean, he's going to do what he needs to do. I mean, you have to assume that he's going to do the right thing. I mean, he may not do the right thing like at the hearing. He may defer his ruling because he has to consult. He has to think. But I think we can rely on the judge to do the right thing. I mean, but you know what? In a high profile case, I remember he mispronounced one of the victims' names. Oh my God. Yeah, and it was like, imagine how he would feel. I mean, being nervous, but you would think he'd have those names in his head. But when things come out and you're nervous.
Yeah. It was in the very beginning. He had just taken over it because remember, there was another judge that was handling it, and he had just taken over it. And that's when everybody was making a big deal because Koberger was mouthing the correct way to pronounce the names. And everybody was like, he got upset that he pronounced it wrong and all this other shit. I don't know if he did or not. I'm not at that water cooler, but yeah, you would think that if you're a judge,
but figure the pressure,
Yeah. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. They're so used to being closed off and not having the whole world watching them. Maybe the other counties around them or something might be, seeing what's going on, but they probably were never used to the national media. And now you're a small teeny ass town and you got all these fucking people coming. They're probably freaking upset. Like, we got a whole bunch of out of towners coming. I mean, come on, think about it. It's got to be a different way of life up there, you know? And you got people coming from the
Oh,
East
yeah.
Coast, West Coast, and the South, which are all from different, um, different regions, and all of it's done a certain way. And then it's that small ass community way up in the north that nobody even really knows about. I didn't know there was a Moscow, Idaho.
Neither did
But
I. I thought they were talking about my skull in Russia.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't even know how to pronounce it. At first,
I was all
yeah.
yeah.
Just not,
So
like,
so yeah. So I yeah yeah. So I think the judge will take it under submission because he has to, because he doesn't only have to rely on the paperwork, but he has to rely on the arguments of counsel. So he has to think about those arguments and then later give a ruling. So, I mean, it makes sense, because people were like, why didn't he know the ruling and this and that? And it's like, well, you got to hear the arguments too,
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You see. So he makes a good point. That's how we feel about the cameras. Like, it's the
Yeah,
truth. So
it is.
why wouldn't you want the truth to be displayed?
And I really don't know what his attorney's doing, but anyway, I won't comment on that.
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I look better in a hoodie and a fucking ball cap. You know what I mean? I'm tired of shit. Drove 3 days worth in 3 days, and this motherfucker looks like he just woke up. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
it is what it is. That flannel
Yeah,
shirt.
you don't don't appear. Well, I'm gonna not say anything.
Prosecution also now say that they don't want
Yeah, he
cameras.
looks like he woke up from a hangover.
I want to say yes.
Oop, hold on. Maybe rewind that just a tad.
In action. To me, the courtroom is truth in action. So why do we hide that?
Were you
Yeah, I'll be ending
surprised,
here
Steve,
soon.
to see the prosecution also
Right,
now
no
say
problem.
that they don't want cameras?
I want to say yes, but I'm shocked at how many times the prosecution and the defendant are on the same page. And then there's some certain things that they have in common, and they rise up. They rise up over and over and over. I won't say them now, but if they keep rising up over my daughter's truth and justice, then I will just call them out on those commonalities that they have. And I mean, I just want a camera. I just want the truth. I just want everyone to see what's going on. That makes me radical. Okay,
No.
I'll live with that.
Shannon, does it matter what the families think in the eyes of the court? I mean, I've seen the filings from the prosecution, defense, the media. Does the family have a say when it comes to the cameras?
Well, I mean, ultimately, I can't speak for the prosecution in this case or the defense in any way.
Why not? Because he's trying to freaking cross-examine people. He was upset because he couldn't he couldn't cross-examine. It's like, bro, you're not part of any of it. Now he admits
as an experience as a prosecutor, as a former prosecutor, and we always listen to the victims. A lot of times the victims have an opportunity to speak to us about resolutions, how the case might be resolved, certain things that go on during the case, we want them involved in along those lines. And so I think that's part of the family putting out the statement today, was to voice their opinion about what they thought about having cameras in the courtroom, and hoping that people were listening to what they were saying. So I can't speak to the prosecution or the defense and what they might be thinking. So.
I mean, in your role representing the families, does the prosecution come to you like with situations like this and say, you know, what does the family think about cameras?
Well,
No.
we were always hopeful, but I think that's the reason we put out the statement today. I think if we had been approached or asked in some way about that, at least the Gonzalez family, I'm not sure they contacted. I don't know. I can't speak to see if they've contacted any of the other families. I don't think they contacted the Cornudo family or the Mogans about the courtroom cameras in the courtroom. But they did not contact the Gonzalez family through me to ask us what our opinion was. And the family stressed to me that they thought it was an important thing that the world know and people know what they thought about it, and that they thought it was important that cameras be in the courtroom. And so that's why the statement was put out by the family, to let people know what their thoughts were.
In the statement, Steve, it says that the case is surrounded by secrecy. Can you elaborate on that a little more? Like what you guys meant by that?
It is secret.
What? What happened?
I said there's no elaboration. It is secret. What are you going to elaborate? Everything's secret. Oh, Detective Golden, I was just thinking the same thing. His eyes. Oh, that's what. Oh my God. Steve Gonsalves's eyes.
What? He looks like he's been crying or tired. Why?
I don't know. I saw a clip and it was like, it was his eyes that, oh.
What?
It's just sad. I mean, like you see the pain and he doesn't know how to deal with it.
Well, I mean,
yeah, like he's suffering.
Oh, for sure. Because he's seeing the people that are supposed, like, come on, like.
Yeah, he was making direct
eye contact. Like the last court hearing that we watched, I'm sitting there getting upset because it's like, man, if I was a fucking family member, seeing the prosecution coming out like this, looking lame as fuck, when you claim to have all this ironclad shit.
Oh, no. Yeah.
You know, you're being asked if you don't have it or you can't get it, or you're fucking sending agencies to witnesses. It's like, I'm sure they're like going, you know, like they were already skeptical in the beginning. Then they started to put trust, because what else could they do but put trust? And then they're seeing all this shit like we're seeing all of it unfold. And this isn't even our family member. This is his. And so I can imagine how do you deal with that when you want to have justice for your own child and you can't because the people that are supposed to do it aren't doing it?
And the way that they were unalived, it's like, ouch. Like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this wasn't a sickness. You know, this wasn't cancer. It wasn't something that happened. It was just, And
well, I mean,
we did.
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, we don't, I mean, how somebody reacts to that. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, when I saw the clip of his interview before, I was like, it's sad because they don't know, like, I feel like they don't know what to do.
No.
They're just doing what they think they need to do.
I mean, I remember being, you know, when I was raising my daughter, like, it was killing me just to see her cry, you know, and I felt bad that I wasn't able.
Oh my God, I would.
You know what I mean? Because
like my kids,
Go ahead.
Oh, so I raised these two kids off and on. One of my godsons, it was the psychiatrist that I worked for, and he was going through a divorce and he had babies, and he said, he couldn't take care of them. So he said, do you babysit? And I was working at a psych hospital. So I took care of these kids, and oh my God, I do not want to see them in pain. I mean, that was like the worst thing. They're not my kids. I don't have kids, but I was like, whoa, Like, no, like it's
Yeah,
like, ouch. Like,
I'd see my daughter crying over somebody, and there's nothing I could do because they were underage. You know what I mean? I couldn't go whoop their ass, and for real, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to go whoop some ass, but and when you see him cry, it's like, damn, you feel
ouch.
helpless then. So I can't imagine. You know, it's obviously it's not in our control, and it's not in the But if I felt that when she was just crying, I can imagine what that fucking feels like, and feel like you couldn't, you're not able to do whatever you could do to protect because, not no fault of his own, he wasn't there. So there was no way that he could technically protect her being there and her being up there, but you still have that, like when I'm saying, I see my daughter crying, and it's like,
And what do you do when the media? Yeah. Yeah. And
I don't know what's up with
the delay.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with it.
I don't know, but there is something so sad. And you know what? Because it's a high profile case, this is his only way. Like I feel like this is their only way, like to keep, like to express. Maybe private, because I probably would be private. I don't know if I'd be private or not, but maybe some people want to be private about it, especially if they think that their child may have had.
You're just quiet because then you don't say something you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like he probably has like even what he just said a minute ago, like the shit that's bothering him right now is all the similarities that the defense and the prosecution have. So that drops his trust into the right thing happening, because then he thinks that some of the prosecution
The
and defense
similarities
and shit. Yeah, like he's probably because we know Steve. Like when he came out, he was saying a lot of stuff, which is appreciated because we weren't even fucking know what was going on unless we heard it from we were finding a lot of stuff out from Steve. But it's a part of him where he's probably trying to focus on holding back the emotion behind that brick wall that he put up to keep the emotion back up, and not being able to know how to deal or manage with it, because how do you when your child is unalive like that? And then kind of keeping quiet because if you start talking, then you're gonna something's gonna slip. Like he said, I want to tell you all these things, but I can't. So if he talks and he talks, some of that shit might slip.
It's a horrible trap. It's a horrible trap to be in.
Mm-hmm. It is the info he knows.
I think it's a horrible trap for this family, for their family to be in. Yeah, it's a horrible trap. I feel like they're torn, and so while maybe Ethan's family, they're quiet and they don't want to be involved, and that's their way of dealing with it. And then there's Kaylee's family, and then there's Kernodle's family, and then Maddie's family, and everybody is just grieving the way they know how. And especially if you have some inkling in your mind that maybe the way that you raised your child led to this, the guilt, if you think, I hope that they don't think that the way they raised their kids led to this, because no, I mean, that would be horrible. They can't think of that. And I hope they watch this, and I hope that they know that everybody has a way to grieve.
Yeah, I'm sure they're talking.
Let me tell you, my kids, I call my kids because I took care of them. Yeah, I mean, my kids, when I saw the girlfriend of the younger one, the one that just got married, who was just, I didn't like her. I knew she was going to be bad. Like, I wanted to just, and I talked to him. I'm actually closer to them than, well, I don't need to go into that. But anyway, I know it must hurt them so bad that you can't even how they're going to react, we don't know. It's sad.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's very,
Yeah,
very
sorry
sad.
to hear about that, Rosie. And I don't know, maybe he just doesn't speak up because then he's afraid if something does slip, it's, something that's
Yeah.
not supposed to come out, and he doesn't want anything to affect his daughter getting the maximum justice that she's supposed to get. And, maybe that's why, is that why you guys maybe didn't say nothing, Rosie, because you were afraid maybe something you might say might,
Yeah.
what's up, Cherry Cherry? That maybe something, you might have said maybe might have hindered, or not hindered, but uh, altered it in some way. I would be afraid, even,
Yeah.
because really
And
anything you can say
yeah.
could
And
manipulate it.
yeah, they can. And like I mean, definitely if this, I mean, I don't even know. That's why I got into this case, because it's just not right all the way around. And then, yeah, it's just not right. And you know what? I got sidetracked with that Danilo Cavalcante because see this guy, like, what the hell? You're fucking holding the whole community hostage? Like, come on. Anyway, but I got sidetracked with that. But actually, I've never been this into true crime as I am with this Idaho4 case, and I would never be out here but for that case. I mean,
going out?
yeah, I almost want to go out there, but the whole thing, there was some issue with some guy putting out videos, and I saw one of the videos, and I'm like, dude, why is this happening? And I think you know what video I'm talking about.
What's that?
It's the one about the guy that looks like, well, it doesn't matter.
What?
It's a bad video.
Oh.
Yeah, don't dive, or somebody came in and talked about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Anyway,
There's some sick fucking people.
I
out
just
there,
can't even imagine. But something is seriously wrong with this case. I don't know what it is, but we'll see.
That's why my show turned into half true crime. For real. I was a talk show that just talked about world events, stuff that, I mean, we talked about world events everywhere from the moon landing and missions to, freaking dumb shit that was taking place. I mean, it was just a world events kind of talk show. And because of this case and because of all the messed up shit, and I started, like, from the beginning when I started covering, I'm like, this shit just don't seem right. And then because I've covered it so much over the last 11 months, 10 months, that's why it kind of turned into, evil CJ with fucking cuffs and bloody hand at the bottom and all this other shit because of this case. So I don't know why I never thought about making sure that I went out to Moscow. I mean, it's a long ass trip, that's for sure, but it needs to happen,
Well,
so
I almost wanted, and this sounds strange, but I almost wanted to, like, volunteer, like, to be on the defense team, because I feel like there's something bigger. And maybe Koberger was involved. Yes, maybe he was involved somehow. But I almost feel like even if he was involved, like, maybe he's the fall guy. But I feel like it's bigger. And I honestly feel like this fraternity life and the brothers and all that, there's something to it, and I don't know what it is.
There's a
But
reason.
but
why it is.
I seriously felt like there's so my godson was in a fraternity, and I mean, yeah, he was in a fraternity, and he told me about some things, and he didn't get involved in anything bad, but there's some strange things that go on in a fraternity. But
Oh yeah,
but we don't
they're all
know,
a secret
right?
society. They're all a little secret society and shit.
We don't know.
Brad made a good point. It's the info that he knows that we don't.
Oh, I just
And
can't
that's what it
imagine
is.
what that is. And to try to keep it under wraps, and I
Well, think
mean,
about this. Like this whole time, right? I mean, fuck, think about it. Because they just said in this interview it was from when they talked to the coroner. That's way back in fucking November, right? Last year.
and
When
then
have
yeah,
any of us
before the gag
when have
order,
it
before the
when
gag
have
order.
any when have any of us heard that Kaylee was trapped? When have any of us heard
No.
Kaylee tried to get away based off her injuries? When did we heard that except for recently? So he obviously knew that shit since last November because he said it was when he talked to the coroner. She told them back last November. That's when he started standing up in front of the cameras and started speaking out about everything, like what Rosie's saying on he should just say it how it is, you know. So if he knew all that, think about, and that's why this comment is so important by Brett. Think about this, all this shit that he doesn't know. He knew this whole time that she was trapped based off her
Oh.
injuries and that she tried to fight back. We only thought this whole time that Zaina was the only one that tried to fight back until now. So all the stuff that he knows that he
Yeah.
hasn't shared or isn't sharing, I
But
can't imagine.
the
That's why he looks like that.
and the confusion. Here's the confusion, because initially he had thought that Kaylee was the target. I think he thought that. I may be wrong, but you know,
Yeah, and Brett, another great comment right there. There's definitely a reason why he thinks they did not have a plan to go upstairs too, because he said that way back then. He said that way back then. They didn't even have to
yes.
go upstairs,
And so
is what he said.
mhm. So there's a lot of statements, you know, that you hear that look, people can contradict themselves, okay, like left and right. It's only relevant if they contradict themselves on a really crucial point. And you know what? He wasn't there. He doesn't know what happened. But you know, hearing all of this, it just leads me to believe the confusion that they must feel. Like,
Well, they have
like
to be. They heard three
my,
different stories from the coroner.
I mean, geez, the confusion. I mean,
Like 3 different stories from the coroner. You got Ellie coming out saying unalive, self-unalive. They don't even close out. Like, you're supposed to work from the outside in, and they worked from the inside out. They started all their shit on the inside and then kept realizing, and they kept expanding and expanding. Well, what the
yeah.
fuck you do? Like, you already done let 15, 20 different fucking cars pull up, leave, people walk around. Hell, you didn't see booties. You didn't even see booties on their feet. How many of
I
them
don't
were wearing
understand.
gloves? How many of them were wearing gloves? You know?
Yeah.
Where's the booties? Where's the gloves? And you got all them people up walking around. Hell, you see all the photos with the LE standing out there while some of them are going inside, and none of them have booties on. None of them have gloves on.
So Brandy Wine True Crime is asking CJ Yoli, can either of you see what it says where it shows Steve's name?
It says, hold on. I can't, it's hard to see it.
It says police say
Steve OG something.
it's about Danilo. Relevant contact.
Can you guys see what it says? Because Yoli, can either you see what it says where it shows
I
Steve's
can't.
name?
No.
It's Twitter. Let me see something. Let me see if I can. Nope.
Mm.
Yeah, I can't tell. Steve, it's got like a blue line over it. Steve something. Here's the link if you guys want to. Oh, it's just saying Brian. If you want to go to Brian.'s Twitter and find out, I'd definitely like to know because I don't know. It's Steve something. Steve something.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, maybe I should wait until the video's finished. I don't know if I can hold it that long, but
13. Well, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna back it up a few minutes because I want them to hear again what he was saying here. But yeah, you can. Yeah, go.
All right. I'll go to the bathroom.
Like 4 minutes. So yeah, you can definitely see him holding it back. Thank you for the great comments tonight too, everybody. That's right. It was contaminated. Like what? When do you show up to a frickin' bloody scene and you ain't wearing booties or gloves? You don't even close off the parking lot. You let all of watch his eyes.
And what are you trying to control? Are we just displaying truth in action? To me, the courtroom is truth in action. So why do we hide that?
Were you surprised, Steve, to see the prosecution also now say that they don't want cameras?
I want to say yes, but I'm shocked at how many times the prosecution and the defendant are on the same.
There, can you guys see it?
There's some
Steve OG. OGEE is what it says. Steve OG.
certain things that they have in common, and they rise up. They rise up over and over and over. I won't say them now, but if they keep rising up over my daughter's truth and justice, then I will just call them out on those commonalities that they have. And I mean, I just want a camera. I just want the truth. I just want everyone to see what's going on.
Right.
That makes me radical. Okay, I'll live with that.
Shannon, does it matter what the families think in the eyes of the court? I mean, I've seen the filings from the prosecution, defense, the media. Like, does the family have a say when it comes to the cameras?
Well, I mean, ultimately, I can't speak for the prosecution in this case or the defense in any way. As an experience as a prosecutor, as a former prosecutor, and we always listen.
Well, and you guys got to think about this too when you're looking at him with stuff that's going on, right? You know, it affects what's going on in your family too. It not only affects you as a person when you're trying to deal with that kind of trauma and work through it, but it also affects your interactions with the rest of the people that you're interacting or you've been interacting with your whole life too. You know, there's a lot of stresses and emotions, and you know, who says they totally agree on everything, and they might even have, you know, there's a lot of it's not just the fact that his daughter was unalived, it's all of the other stuff in the background as well that you know, there's emotions and frictions and all of those different things. So you're not only trying to manage one, which how do you? There's no manual for it, you know. So how do you know how to navigate or cope? And then you add all that other stuff onto it, you know, from real life, and You know, you can see it. I mean, how 10, 11 months. And this is, it's like I've been saying, this is the effort that the prosecution has given to these victims for 10 fucking months, and this is what they're coming up with. I'd be freaking nervous too that my child isn't going to get the justice. So I'm sure he wants to take shit in his own hands, and he seems like a smart guy, and he was the one that was, letting us know shit before. He's probably just feeling helpless, like he just wants to join the fucking force and help with the investigation, and he can.
Listen to the victims. A lot of times the victims have an opportunity to speak to us about resolutions, how the case might be resolved, certain things that go on during the case, we want them involved in, along those lines. And so I think that's part of the family putting out the statement today, was to voice their opinion about what they thought about having cameras in the courtroom, and hoping that people were listening to what they were saying. So I can't speak to the prosecution or the defense and what they might be thinking. So,
in your role representing the families, does the prosecution come to you like with situations like this and say, what does the family think about cameras?
Well, we were always hopeful, but I think that's the reason we put out the statement today. I think if we had been approached or asked in some way about that, at least the Gonzalez family, I'm not sure they contacted. I don't know. I can't speak to see if they've contacted any of the other families. I don't think they contacted the Cornudo family or the Mogans about the courtroom. Cameras in the courtroom, but they did not contact the Gonzalez family through me to ask us what our opinion was. And the family stressed to me that they thought it was an important thing that the world know and people know what they thought about it, and that they thought it was important that cameras be in the courtroom. And so that's why the statement was put out by the family, to let people know what their thoughts were.
In the statement, Steve, it says that the case is surrounded by secrecy. Can you elaborate on that a little more? Like what you guys meant by that?
Like, seriously.
I've talked with multiple family members, and I want to be respectful for everybody's viewpoint. And there is some fear that the cameras will record things that are gross. They're not ready to have their friends and family members come to them and say, hey, did you hear about this or that? And understand that. I really do. So they come to me, and I reflect what they're saying, I absorb it, and then I also tell them from a legal perspective, from my lawyer counsel, it's hard to really argue what a camera is going to be in a courtroom negatively. We're here asking for somebody in the community to judge this individual. So let's just hang it out there. Let's show every aspect and every fact that I feel is a fact. The community should agree that that is a fact, whether it's DNA or whatever it is. So, but I still respect all these family members and their own individual processing of their preparedness for what's about to happen. And it's terrible. You really cannot prepare yourself to understand that the legal system is going to drag all of us through the mud.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you can get to the truth. So if I'm going to go through the mud, I'd rather have all the witnesses that I can possibly have than to create a narrow bubble there in Latau County in Moscow and say that, I want to have the support of everyone, that the justice was put in place, and The evidence was that clear.
I'm thinking about, you know, them wanting to tear the house down, the university, and sort of the fight over that, and now not wanting cameras, and the prosecution also not wanting cameras, and they gave their legal arguments, which, you know, I guess makes sense in one way, you know, that witnesses might be scared to testify with cameras rolling, especially like emotional witnesses. But I'm also wondering, like, do you think any of this is connected? Like, without cameras, the story sort of goes away, the town doesn't look as bad. Without the house, you know, you don't have to think about it every day. The school can go back to normal. Like, do you think it's all connected, or do you think it really is just sort of legal? Like, both sides just don't want the cameras for the legal reasons.
That's a good question.
100%. The reason I'm talking to you right here, right now, is because there is capital business decisions being made on top of justice systems. So no, there.
He's talking. That's a good question for B.Entin, because that's kind of what he was wanting to say a little bit ago about how there's too many similarities and agreements between the prosecution and the defense. And good question by B.Entin. I just
And they gave their legal arguments, which, you know, I guess makes sense in one way, you know, that witnesses might be scared to testify with cameras rolling, especially like emotional witnesses. But I'm also wondering, like, do you think any of this is connected? Like, without cameras, the story sort of goes away, the town doesn't look as bad. Without the house, you know, you don't have to think about it every day. The school can go back to normal. Like, do you think it's all connected, or do you think it really is just sort of legal? Like, both sides just don't want the cameras for the legal reasons.
100%. The reason I'm talking to you right here, right now, is because there is capital business decisions being made on top of justice systems. So no, there is no way to pretend like these all equal and they all equate to the same motivation. Somebody's going to lose, and it isn't going to be my daughter. I will sit here. I will speak to every single microphone, every single camera before I go to court and after I go to court. If you force me to do it, I'd rather the courtroom speak for itself than me. I don't want to speak. I'm actually quite a private man. But if you force me to protect my daughter, then I will speak at every moment that I have to do just that and protect her. And that's what we're doing today. We're protecting the truth. We're protecting where the truth is going to go. The truth needs to be in that courtroom, and a camera will never, ever hide the truth. So why remove it? Why do you remove a camera? Well, maybe it'll protect you from, like me, I misspoke. I might say something wrong.
See?
But I'm a father. I can
Right.
deal with that.
Right.
The repercussions of that is fine. But some people seem to be scared of the repercussions of their mistake.
Yeah, we're
And I say
human.
just embrace it and let the community decide what the truth is.
Yep. And that's why the cameras are so important. Let the community decide what the truth is. It's everything that we've been saying, and plus, you know, all you can do is agree with what he's saying, you know, especially, you know, him being the father of one of the victims. Damn straight. And he you know, he will say, he's just, like I said, he's trying to be, like he said, he doesn't want to say the wrong thing or let something slip out that's going to affect the investigation. Because don't you think in the very beginning, he would have told us back in November that the coroner told him, based off the injuries, what we found out recently here? You know, don't you think he wanted to say that way back in November? Of course. But we didn't know. So he definitely doesn't want to slip up. That's why he, like Brett to Kill said, he knows more than what we do. And he just There's certain things you just can't say. And if he, think about this, this family was supporting LE, supporting the prosecution. Hell, they had that death penalty tweet from Shannon Gray on behalf of Steve a while back when they came out with the death penalty. The family member that was wearing the T-shirt, and him coming out and now all of a sudden, now they're seeing the court hearings too, and they're starting to. It's the same shit that we're saying, when it comes to the cameras, when it comes to the prosecution, with their evidence. And now he's, it's got to be one thing because, being in that position, shit's not being handled the way it's supposed to be. But all you can do as as him is to just, all you can do is trust. All you can do is trust that the LE is going to do the right thing, that the prosecution is going to do the right thing, even when you think that it might not. You still have to continue to trust. And when your trust at that point starts to bend, then you start to go back on all the things that you were questioning and all the things that you were contemplating. And that's why he's, starting to talk about, the cameras. It's about the truth. Why try and hide it? Why not have the cameras? And it's up to you to control your damn courtroom, not the community. The community is going to be wilding out all the time anyway. It's called, it is the new age in social media. The cases are covered differently. Yeah, it's called evolving. So if you can't evolve as a fucking courtroom, don't blame it on the community, blame it on you. If you can't set the boundaries without the boundaries getting continued, perfect fucking example is court TV. You're letting court TV fucking run amok with your requests. When what you should have done, and I love Judge, but dude, the first fucking time court TV started zooming in on BK's shit, that's when you go, okay, court TV, you done fucking disrespected my request. Do it one more fucking time, and I'm gonna give it to law and crime. Do it one more fucking time, and I'm gonna give it to crime. Then court TV stops doing the shit. But because it didn't get addressed, it keeps happening and happening and happening. It's like a parent that enables a child. You can keep helping and helping and helping and helping in a certain situation. You're just enabling a situation. You're not stopping it. You're not changing the path. You're not trying to, so it's like, if you're not trying to change it, then what the fuck are you doing? They should have been fine. Yeah. Like, if I was a judge, I would have been like, you know what, dude? I just got done telling you, court TV, not to frickin' zoom in. I just got done telling you. And you do it. And this was after the frickin' warning to the media, the social media, all these other things that he was already warning way back a long time ago. Don't be doing this. We don't want people analyzing it. Da, 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 da. But you can't sit there and get mad at court TV for continuing to fucking do it when you don't stomp the shit out in the first place. So instead of blaming the community, instead of saying, oh, I don't want cameras because the community is going to go fucking crazy, it's your enabling ass that is allowing all this shit to take place anyway. Sometimes you need to self-reflect. Sometimes you need to look in the mirror. Shit, maybe it's me. He doesn't know what to say. It's ridiculous. All right, there's like 7 minutes left here.
We either got the guy or we don't. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. And just a few more questions. Since Koberger waived the speedy trial, I think we all thought maybe the trial was going to be really soon, and now it could be far away. I mean, how are you dealing with that? Are you still processing that? I mean, I feel for you guys having to like continue to live in this weird like legal limbo.
You give up all your notions of normal when something like this happens. And you hope that your community feels for you and embraces you, hugs you, and says, we're going to take care of this. You hope that your community says, we're here for you.
We do.
And we're going to make this right. And that's why I'm there, for them to have the vision and the cameras, and everybody needs to be in that room, because they're the ones that are wrapping their arms around me, Chrissy, and our children. They're saying, we're gonna do, like, this is an outsider. He came here to hunt these dumb hillbillies and teach us about what he said was like cloud computing and forensic. He thought he could come here and hunt dumb hillbillies and he could get away with this. And now that we have him caught, we need to be able to hold him accountable, and the community needs to be a part of that. And taking cameras out of there makes it a double standard. You can't say that they're accountable,
right?
Yet they're not a part of it.
Right. It's the enabler.
How are you guys doing? Like, I mean, the last time I saw you in court, Olivia was there with your granddaughter. I mean, how are they doing? I'm sure in some ways, like, life has to go on. You have some positive things happening too with your granddaughter. Like how's everybody?
That's one question that I don't know. Maybe I'm just different, but that's one question that either drives me nuts when I'm being asked, or asking somebody how they're doing with some traumatic shit that happens. It's like, what the fuck do you want me to say? Do you want me to tell you the truth? Do you want me to tell you like the fucking truth about what the hell is wrong? Because you obviously would know. How are you doing? Well, what do you think, man? I lost my damn daughter to a fucking horrific incident, her friend and her housemates, and then LE and prosecution doesn't look like they're giving the 150 effort that they should be given. How do you think he's doing? I don't know. Maybe it's just me when it comes to that kind of question. It's kind of like, dude, it's self-explanatory, but what are you supposed to say? Yeah, we're doing great. Like, it doesn't make. I don't know. I never understood that question.
Doing.
Probably.
In some ways, we're in a pause of a movie. Like, you could just go forward, but you just got to keep rewinding because you don't know what you missed and all these facts. So it's no way to live. It's no way to be. And we try to treat our children different than what we're going through. It's my responsibility to hold this individual accountable for what he has done to my family. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm talking. That's why this is happening right here, right now. It's not because I care about anything other than justice. And that's why I'm pushing for cameras. That's why I'm pushing for this, because I'm a biased man. I'm a biased father. So let everybody have a part in this. And then it's a lot easier for us to have a conviction that we all embrace. And then the rest of me and my family don't have to hear the haunting effects of messages saying that, if there would have been cameras in that courtroom, it would have been a different outcome. If we would have had truth and transparency in this case, if it wasn't all about business, then there would have been a different outcome. So that's You only have one moment to
That's
make
what we've been
a
saying.
statement.
It's all about the enrollment.
That's the moment we're in right now, and why we're doing this. Shannon told me we had a couple of interviews. I don't keep track of this. He keeps track of this for me because there is a gap. It's a gap in leadership. And the leadership, I want them to hold everyone accountable and do all this. And when they don't, our phones are being ringed. People are calling us because somebody else isn't picking up the phone. That's really why we get involved. I don't want to be the guy talking to you, to be honest.
Yeah, you sort of become like the spokesperson, though. I mean, it's, like you said, it seems like if you don't hold people accountable, it's like in life, things slip away or whatever.
Okay, enemy's about to break down.
For me, Kaylee would have expected me to be her father. Not 1%, not 10, not 50% of the time. Like I handed off to a judge and a prosecutor to be the father. I'm going to be her father 100% of the time. And when I tell whoever did this, you picked the wrong family, it has to be backed by action. And I'm that action. I'm that person saying, I'm going to be the voice that doesn't go away, even if both sides want that voice to go away.
He's been saying it the whole time.
Makes sense. Is there anything else, Shannon, you think is important that we didn't touch on with the statement, or just that you want to get out there going into the hearing tomorrow?
I mean, there's a lot of procedural things that are going on in the next couple of weeks. I think the family will be there either by Zoom or in person. I'm not sure. We'll figure that out. It's not worth it to really get them in there for 10 or 15 minutes to, like Steve said, for a whole day's worth of stuff. So, but we are, we're looking forward to some of the stuff coming up, the scheduling order, picking new trial dates, the alibi issue, the indictment stuff, all decisions on those things. The court has a lot of stuff in front of him that it has to make some decisions on. We're looking forward to those things. The cameras in the courtroom tomorrow. I'm sure there'll be some oral argument on that tomorrow. I think we'll all be there by Zoom. I'll be there by Zoom. And, it's like Steve said, they become the spokespersons for the families sometimes because that's the job that they've taken on and they're willing to do it. And, when we do put out statements, we always kind of check in with the families to see if that's something that they're in line with, and we can attach their name to it. So they can get their voice out there and present their views. And so, we thought it was important that everyone knew what the positions of some of the family members of the Cornudo family and the Gonzalez family felt about cameras in the courtroom. And that was the reason for the statement today. So.
That was a good one. Why didn't it? Didn't it? Is it? There it is. Here you go. Here's a direct link to that. If you guys want it. Yeah, it sounds like he's having a hard time believing a lot of it, He doesn't trust him. Definitely. Does not. I don't think so. That's just my opinion. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and end the show. Be up for a few and probably go through some paperwork. I need to pack for tomorrow. Have all my packing done, so that way when I wake up tomorrow, I'm just taking a shower and hitting the road. And we'll have I'll just be doing a hangout show as we get there. I think It's like 3.5, 4 hours until we get to the Flight 93 memorial. So we'll be doing that. Let me see, if I leave, it's probably going to be in the early afternoon, very early afternoon tomorrow, Eastern, when we go to the Flight 93 memorial. So I'm going to take you guys through there. Well, that's the thing. I'm trying to see if while I'm going, because I'll be driving at that point when the special comes out, and I'm trying to see if I can have somebody have like their microphone sit next to the TV and we can listen to the audio as I'm driving. So we could listen to the audio of the show from a TV over the panel, and then we can all hear. We may not be able to see. We'll watch it in a couple nights when I get back. I'll be back at the studio on Sunday, watch it Monday or something like that. But yeah, I'm trying to see if somebody can have a microphone up to the TV and then we can all listen to it together. So.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. I'm just getting ready to use it, and then I gotta get some packing done. Get everything ready and leaving it. So probably be at Flight 93 early afternoon.
Okay.
So.
All right. So there'll be a show tomorrow on CBS, so I'll probably be watching it. I don't know if you guys will.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm trying to see if I can get somebody to have like a microphone next to a TV, and then we can all listen to it in the show tomorrow as I'm driving. Because I'd definitely like to listen to it while I'm driving. I won't be able to watch it until
I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, people have just taken their microphone and set it in front of their TV, and the audio came through just fine.
So like if I'm sitting here, I could just put the microphone.
Yeah, right next to the TV. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you won't get in trouble?
Mm-hmm.
You won't get in trouble though?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe I can do it. I don't know. I'll let you know. I'll email you.
It's CBS, you know what I mean? It's not, what program is it? 48 hours?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I do get in trouble, it'll just make it unavailable for a few minutes and not come back up. So it'd be fine.
Okay,
and
well,
it could be one of those. It could be one of those things like if a TV's in a different room, you could just have it logged into one thing on one and join with another one. Because I have two profiles that I can do at the same time with mine on StreamYard, where I can have this and I can have another one. I kind of swapped.
You mean like a phone and a computer, two different things?
Yeah.
But with the same name, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So like I have two Evil CJs, one that like if I'm on my phone, then I can have the one on my phone and I can have the one on the computer in the same StreamYard. So like if there's
I think I do that. Yeah.
Yeah, if there's a TV in a different room where you're not gonna each microphone's not gonna pick up off each other and create feedback.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well I'll look into.
So it has to be in a different room.
I'll see if it works. I'll see how it might work.
Yeah, it just needs to be in a different room. That's all. Because with both microphones active, you'll create feedback if it's in the same room. But if it's in another one, you could have it. You could have the audio from the CBS thing off in another room, and then you could have your microphone on another StreamYard, and you could be chatting about what they're saying from the audio. So, yeah, just let me know. We can test some things out or something sometime.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. I will let you guys know. I'm going to put out a notification when I wake up.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let's see the article.
Bye-bye.
See you later. explains what to expect.
Oh, it's that airmail article. I'll have to look at that.
Yeah,
All
me
right.
too.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you for hopping up. And yeah, come hang out at the Flight 93 Memorial tomorrow. It'll be early afternoon. I'll put out a notification when I get up in the morning, because then I'll have a better idea of when I'm actually taking off. And then it'll be about 3.5 to 4 hours after I take off when we're going to make it there. So,
All right.
So,
All
good
right.
night, everybody. Thank you so
Good night.
much. Appreciate it. Happy Friday night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you.
I'm just what I am. That's all. That's all.